When a devoted mother disappears, loved ones fear the worst.
No matter where Jolene was at, she would always answer her phone.
I just felt like something bad had happened and that she wouldn't be back.
A woman with a history of choosing the wrong man.
She didn't always pick the best guys. I don't know why. She could always do so much better.
I got text messages from people saying he's bad.
Crosses a stranger with a secret past.
She went by around 17 different aliases. She had several driver's licenses in different states.
We just didn't know what we had at that point. It was this lady.
You know, she can pull it off. She can be the most charming, thoughtful person ever, and snap.
The search uncovers an overwhelming amount of lies and unspeakable violence.
And you say, holy crap, something really serious happened in here.
She stabbed me in the chest. She bit my dad's leg.
She was extremely jealous. She was very controlling. She was at times very violent. This is a weird, evil woman.
The quaint charm of Fernandina Beach, Florida, makes it a favorite destination for locals and visitors alike.
Fernandina Beach is located on Amelia Island. It's in the very northeastern corner of Florida, just above Jacksonville.
It's a little island. Everybody knows everybody. And so it's a great place to grow up and raise a family.
But on May 14th, 2018, a feeling of dread settles over the beach town when Ann Johnson calls the local sheriff's office to report her 34-year-old daughter, Jolene Cummings, missing.
We originally got a call from Ann Johnson, and she said the last time somebody spoke to Jolene was May 12th, and a couple days later, no one had still heard from her.
Ann says she began to worry on Sunday, May 13th, when Jolene failed to pick up her two sons after their week-long visit with their father.
The kid's father contacted her mother, Ann Johnson, said, you know where Jolene's at? She's supposed to pick the kids up, and he didn't know where she was.
What's more, the Sunday of May 13th was a very special day for Jolene and her kids.
Her mother told me it was Jolene's birthday, and also Mrs. Mother.
It was a big concern that she couldn't be found because she does have kids. She loves her kids. So certainly you want to try to find them as soon as possible.
I just felt like something bad had happened and that she wouldn't be back.
Born on May 13th, 1984, Jolene Jensen was a small-town girl who loved her family fiercely.
It was just Jolene and her mom and her stepdad. They had a good relationship.
They were always together, having family dinners.
Joyful and energetic, Jolene drew people in.
Jolene had a large circle of friends. Everybody loved Jolene.
After graduating high school, Jolene left for cosmetology school, but she knew she would never be gone for long.
Jolene was very much a small-town girl. She wanted to own a salon, so the small town is the best for that.
After a few years away, and a failed relationship that left her a single mother, Jolene moved back to her hometown.
Jolene was very excited to be a mom. She didn't always pick the best guys. I don't know why. She could always do so much better.
She worked at Tangle's Hair Salon in Fernandina Beach.
The salon we worked at was a very family-friendly place. We had fun there. Everybody got along, had lunches together.
She was the light of the salon.
Jolene used this time to build toward her dreams.
She advertised herself a lot on social media, and she built a very good clientele. I never knew a day that she wasn't booked.
Jolene's career was taking off, and when she met Jason Cummings, her personal life quickly followed suit. After the birth of their first son in 2013, they married, and Jolene gave birth to another boy in 2015.
She was so obsessed with those babies that nothing else mattered. Those kids came first.
Although Jolene was overjoyed to grow her family, her marriage to Jason soon began to fray.
They didn't have a very good relationship in the end, but she kept trying. She loved him, and she always put her men and her kids before anything.
The two separated in 2017.
She wasn't real talkative about Jason. She was focused on her kids. They would go visit their father, but her kids always lived with Jolene.
Soon after the separation, she began dating someone new to herself.
With men, she was a very private girl. I knew she was dating a new guy, and at times when I would see her, she was very excited. It was new, it was butterflies.
Jolene was enjoying motherhood, a flourishing career, and a growing romance. It seemed all of the pieces of her life were falling into place. Until May 14th, 2018, when the reliable mother is nowhere to be found.
Everyone was just panicking. We didn't know what could have happened. We still held on to the hope that she was okay somewhere, but it was like deep down we knew better.
Local authorities start their search by contacting the first person to notice Jolene's absence, her estranged husband, Jason Cummings.
Jolene was going through a divorce with her husband, Jason Cummings, and the final custody had not been determined. The custody dispute can be a huge motivator to possibly do violence. I wanted to meet with him in person.
Jason agrees to come to the sheriff's office the next day for an interview, and investigators continue to call more of Jolene's family and friends.
Through contacting people who know her and doing interviews with them, the last place that we could determine that Jolene was seen was at her place of employment at Tangle's Hair Salon on the 12th of May. We talked to the salon owner. We got the names of people who were working that day. She had Jolene Cummings, who had been with her for several years, and Morgan, who had been there for approximately 10 years. And she had a newer employee who had only been there for a couple of months, and her name was Jennifer Seibert.
The salon owner says Jolene and Jennifer closed the salon on Saturday, May 12th, around 5 p.m.
Well, we knew the type of vehicle that Jolene drove was not anywhere near the salon. And the salon had a camera, but it was not working.
We did attempt to ping her cell phone, and the cell phone was either not working or it had been turned off. We checked her bank records. We checked social media accounts. None of those had had any activity since the last day that she had worked, which was on May 12th. We know that after that, nobody had seen her. So the focus of our timeline was basically between the 12th and the 14th.
Investigators immediately release a description of Jolene and her vehicle to the local news and reach out to her coworker, Jennifer.
We asked if Jolene mentioned anything about going anywhere. Jennifer went into a long explanation about why she could not be involved in a expert and that he was a stalker, and if her name was listed anywhere, he would track her down. I said, I just need to know, did you work with Jolene on Saturday? And if she discussed any upcoming plans? Jennifer stated that her and Jolene were not close, that Jolene was acting normally, and that she didn't mention any upcoming plans for the weekend.
With concern for Jolene mounting, detectives dig deeper into her history.
If somebody's reported missing, we're going to look for recent police reports. I had discovered a previous police report on the 9th of May. There had been a domestic situation. Jason G. had come over and asked to spend the night. When she told him he could not spend the night, he got upset.
Detectives then arrange to meet Jolene's stepfather at her home to conduct a wellness check, and what they find is concerning.
That afternoon, on Monday the 14th, we noticed that the residence was secured, but once entering in, the house looked a little bit in disarray. There are some cabinet doors that were loose, some holes in the walls. We actually reached out to an officer who had responded there, and he advised that that was typical for that house.
Coming up, detectives suspect that Jolene's disappearance could be connected to her complicated love life.
We did discover that sometimes Jolene may not have made the best decisions with the guys that she chose to date.
We'd call him, he'd hang up. We'd go to his house, he's not there. It seemed like he's trying to avoid us.
May 15th, 2018. It's been 3 days since 34-year-old mother Jolene Cummings was last seen.
No one knew what had happened, but we had a feeling something bad had happened.
After finding her house in disarray, investigators start looking into the men in Jolene's life, beginning with her estranged husband, Jason Cummings.
Jolene was going through a divorce with her husband. If somebody's reported missing and going through a separation or a divorce, the person involved with that's going to be one of the first people we look at.
3 days after Jolene's disappearance, Jason sits down with detectives for an interview. He admits that he and Jolene had arguments, but denies any physical altercation.
That's my kid's mom, to be honest with you. But what I do take seriously is my family.
He gave an alibi of being with some friends at a specific location all weekend. I asked him for permission to search and download his cellular phone. I didn't find anything of evidentiary value on the cell phone. He also gave written consent for a search of his vehicle. We actually had a crime scene unit go out and examine it and take photos of it, but we saw nothing inside the vehicle of a suspicious nature.
Before the interview is over, Jason Cummings has a question about the other man in Jolene's life.
I was want to know a little more about his boyfriend. Can you please, I've been so cooperative. Can you please tell me about this guy?
She has a guy she's been seeing, and we're looking into that. I'm trying to locate him for an interview.
I got text messages from other people saying he's bad news.
But she never physically seen the guy.
I've never met him myself.
Detectives find Jason Cummings has never been charged nor convicted of any crimes against Jolene, so they release him. They work to confirm his alibi.
At that point in time, we began to look for Jolene's boyfriend, Jason G., whose name and information I had discovered in a domestic incident. There was no physical violence documented, but it was documented that he had gotten angry and damaged the cabinets in the home.
When we tried to contact Jason G., we'd call him, he'd hang up. We'd go to his house, he's not there. It seemed like he's trying to avoid us.
He had an active warrant for violation of probation, and we knew that he was dodging. But still, the more he dodged us, he certainly was becoming more of a suspect.
Investigators concentrate more resources on locating Jason.
We were also looking at his background, any relatives, any friends, any locations that he frequented. Jason G. was eventually found in Hilliard, Florida. He had a relative that lived there. Law enforcement went to the relative's house. He was hiding in some boxes in the bedroom.
Authorities arrest Jason G. on an outstanding warrant and bring him in for an interview.
Jason G. had some criminal history and some brushes with the law. You pronounce your last name G or E? G. You're here coming up on a probation violation, okay? You are in custody. You're not free to leave. I want to talk to you about something else. Have you heard that Jolene was missing? Can we go just kind of back to the beginning? How you guys got together, where you met?
A little over a year ago, she had, just got together, just clicked. Last time I seen her was a night when we got in an argument, and she accused me of messing around on her.
I went over there to see what was in the house. There was some cabinets broken, there was some holes and stuff. Did that happen that night?
No.
And what about there was some holes in the door where somebody punched you?
That was a long time ago.
Detectives press Jason G for his whereabouts on the day Jolene went missing.
She was at work on Saturday. Nobody's heard from her since then. I was at my cousin's house Saturday. When's the last time you talked to her? I was texting with her Saturday. Okay. Was she at work or where was she at? I'll tell you, she was at work because it was like 3:50 something, 3:57, I think.
For detectives, this information raises a red flag. It's the same day Jolene was last seen and only an hour before the salon closed.
Do you still have the messages in your phone from?
I don't have a phone, but yeah, I'm sure you can get it to the phone company, but yeah.
You don't have it?
No, sir.
The whereabouts of Jason's phone fuels only more suspicion.
Yesterday at my cousin's or at my aunt's where I was this morning. I took the battery out of it and I said, I haven't been on it.
You're taking your battery out of the phone? Are you afraid of taking your phone trying to find you?
I told you, the reason I was I got a warrant for violation of probation. I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't have nothing to do with Jolene.
I'm not buying what you're telling me.
I can't believe that. I'm telling you the truth. I had nothing to do with Jolene being missing. I love her.
He's knowing he's going to sit in jail for a little while. He's obviously angry with law enforcement. But when it comes to Jolene, his demeanor did change. He seemed legitimately concerned that she was missing.
Investigators need to confirm Jason's alibi, but first, they head to the last place Jolene was spotted, the salon.
We had no other indication she was anywhere else. Nobody'd seen her after work, and no one had seen her leave work.
We didn't know what time or if Jolene Cummings actually walked out of the hair salon.
Coming up, a potential witness refuses to cooperate with police.
She calls her owner. Today, I'm quitting. You come on my check. I can't be involved in any police activity.
And new evidence sends investigators on a hunt for a mysterious suspect.
Once the vehicle was parked, a minute or so later, you could see someone exit the driver's side.
May 15th, 2008, missing for more than 48 hours. Up until now, the investigation has centered on Jolene's former spouse, Jason Cummings, and her boyfriend, Jason G. Both men say they were visiting friends and family the weekend of Jolene's disappearance.
Jason Cummings gave us all of his phones, and we could check and see where he was at. And so we could eliminate him as being any person of interest or even a suspect.
Despite having a criminal record, detectives are also able to clear Jason G.
Jason G gave an alibi that he was at some friend's house in Jacksonville. We sent detectives to talk to the friends in Jacksonville who confirmed that he was there. Jason G's father confirmed that he was the one who transported him.
With their leads dwindling, authorities decide to circle back to the location where Jolene was last seen, the salon.
One of our detectives went to the hair salon, and while he's in there speaking to the owner of the hair salon, Jennifer Seibert comes to the shop.
Only Jennifer Seibert and Jolene Cummings were working that day. So Jennifer was the last person that we know seen her.
The owner of the shop actually told Jennifer, hey, there's a detective in here that wants to speak to you.
However, Jennifer makes it clear once again that she doesn't want to get involved.
She decided she didn't want to have any part of the police as she leaves. So today, I'm quitting. You come out my check. I can't be involved in any police activity, which is a concern.
I thought it was very unusual, but there are certainly people who don't like law enforcement and don't want contact with law enforcement.
As detectives prepare to look deeper into Jennifer's background, they receive their biggest tip yet.
Well, after we put the flyer out for Jolene's vehicle, we did receive a call from an individual who thought he'd seen that vehicle in a Home Depot parking lot. When we responded, we verified that it was Jolene's car.
When we searched the vehicle, we did not see any kind of blood or anything of evidentiary value. Once we found her vehicle, it gave us a place to start and to work backwards from there. So what we did was we looked for surveillance video
investigators pull video surveillance from a nearby bank, they make a startling discovery.
Early in the morning, the 13th at about 1:17, you could see the vehicle being driven into the Home Depot parking lot. A minute or so later, you could see someone exit the driver's side.
The grainy footage makes it impossible to identify.
One of the videos was from a gate gas station. It was a very clear video showing the female wearing all black enter into the store.
Once she enters into the gas station and walks up near the counter, the surveillance is even clearer. And, judging off the driver's license picture I have, I'm like, that's Jennifer Seibert.
With this new revelation, on Wednesday, May 16th, investigators return to Jolene's place of work for a closer look.
The salon had been closed since Jolene Cummings' disappearance due to the fact that the salon's normally closed Sunday, Monday. On Tuesday, when the owner showed up to open up the business, she had no employees there to cut hair. The salon being closed was pretty important in that nobody had cleaned anything, nothing had been disturbed.
When the crime scene unit applies luminol, a chemical that reacts with blood, hidden horrors are revealed.
And you say, holy crap, something really serious happened here.
That was really the moment when I said, I'm working a homicide investigation. And our number one priority at that point in time is to find Jennifer Seibert.
Detectives send samples of the blood evidence for DNA testing. While they wait for results, they release a bullet for Jennifer's vehicle and ping her phone. Location data places her somewhere in neighboring St. Johns County.
St. Johns County, which is a couple counties south of Nassau. She had given a false address to her employer. Instructions were given to check any area where somebody needed to stay or sleep in their car.
We were informed, hey, she's a transient sometimes, she's living out of her vehicle. So I went to a rest area. I was not expecting to find her vehicle. But when I looked to my left and saw her black Kia between two semis, I knew it was her. I made a phone call to another detective. I told him, hey, her vehicle's here.
Several detectives quickly responded to St. Johns County, including myself. We approached, and it appeared that there was someone sleeping in the vehicle. At that point in time, I gave the person verbal commands to step out of the vehicle with their hands visible. Jennifer Seibert exited the front door of the vehicle.
She had a nasty cut on her face. Her story was she was riding her bicycle and ran into a tree. But that's not what she would have looked like if she'd hit a tree. Looks like she'd been in a... Never had.
At that point in time, I knew she was lying. I then confronted her and said, I don't believe you. At that time, she said, well, if you don't believe me, maybe I'm an attorney.
Investigators place Jennifer under arrest and transport her to the St. Johns County Jail.
We originally charged Jennifer Seibert with grand theft of Jolene's vehicle.
We need to continue gathering evidence, looking for any clues, certainly looking, see if we can find Jolene somewhere.
They start by canvassing the area around the salon for more surveillance footage.
We did discover a camera for the alleyway behind Tangles where the dumpsters are located. In that video, you can see Jennifer Seibert exiting the rear of the business with large garbage bags and throwing them into the dumpster behind the business. For several hours after Tangles was closed on the 12th of May.
Footage further shows a truck emptying the dumpster on May 14th, just 2 hours after Jolene was reported missing.
We contacted the company that services the dumpsters, and they were able to give us a general area of where that particular truck dumped. We asked them to isolate that area so that we could later search it.
Authorities obtain a search warrant for Jennifer's car.
We found a bag in there with combs and scissors.
The screw that attaches two pieces of scissors together. There was a little bit of a darker color substance in there. Could have been rust, it could have been anything. It to have analyzed. We did that, and it did come back as positive for not just blood, but Jolene's blood.
I did believe at that point that we had located the murder weapon.
Detectives also discover a record of purchases made by Jennifer at Walmart around 9 p.m. on May 12th, the last day Jolene was seen alive.
The detective went to Walmart and obtained video surveillance.
She bought ammonia, large trash bags, gloves, and a carving knife.
Detectives re-examine the hours of surveillance footage and quickly realize that after Jennifer purchased the items at Walmart, she returned to the salon. Over an hour later, she emerges and continues her trips to the dumpster.
What really floored me was the electric knife. When I saw that, I'm thinking she cut Jolene up, stuffed her in those black trash bags, and threw her away like garbage.
Coming up.
I'm 50 years old. I've been running from the FBI for over 25 years.
At the time, I had no idea if this was true or not true.
All of a sudden, there's this information with a little girl named Jennifer Seibert, same date of birth, who died in a car accident in Germany at 13 years old. It just gave us chills.
Jolene Cummings is missing and presumed dead. Her co-worker, Jennifer Seibert, is in custody after surveillance video shows her stealing Jolene's vehicle. But blood evidence now points to a much darker crime.
When the luminol lit up the salon, it was obviously a lot of blood. At that point, we knew we had a murder on our hands.
The amounts of blood that were found on the walls and the floor, there were samples of those collected. They were sent, and they did come back as Jolene's DNA. The evidence was mounting, and we knew that this crime occurred inside Tangles.
Whenever you have a murder and you can't locate the body, it's a difficult case. You have to have overwhelming evidence.
Investigators search the landfill where they believe Jolene's body may be located.
The area was enormous. It was almost inconceivable the amount of refuse that we went through. We analyzed what we could, but nothing of evidentiary value was found.
Investigators search for a potential motive by interviewing the staff about Jennifer and Jolene's relationship.
When Jennifer Seibert first went to work at Tangles, it seemed like her and Jolene got along very well. But as time went on, there was tension and eventually downright just dislike between the two.
Jolene had all the clients. I don't think she was making the money that Jolene was making.
Jolene had talked to me about Jennifer and said that something was really weird with her.
Another coworker, Ann Morgan, who has worked with Jolene for nearly 6 years, claims that the day before her disappearance, Jolene and Jennifer argued.
Jolene say, "Go away. I don't want to talk to you. You fake. You crazy. You fake." She told me, she said, "Miss Ann, something about Jennifer that I cannot put my hand on it. She's not right."
Jolene basically told her, "You're not who you say you are."
May have led to Jolene's murder.
Something triggered Jennifer to do this. What exactly was, we don't know.
On May 18th, after 2 days in custody, Jennifer drops a bombshell.
I want to talk to you for a few minutes.
Jonathan, tell you, when you run my fingerprints through, they come up as Kimberley Kessler. I was born in May of 1968, May 9th. I am 50 years old. I've been running from the FBI for over 25 years.
We just didn't know what we had at that point. Who is this lady? What is she about? Where's she from?
Kimberly says she grew up in Butler, Pennsylvania.
I was an honor roll student. I was a cheerleader. But my mom started acting crazy on me, and I started hanging out with the crowd that would take me in.
Kimberly tells investigators that she dropped out of school and left Pennsylvania for something new that proved dangerous.
One of my first relationships in Arizona, I was working as a topless dancer at a topless bar in Phoenix. And just started out with him and whatever. And he was with me whenever he called somebody and they said, the FBI is looking for you. And then he tells me everything. Oh, I robbed these banks. And I'm like, you what? And I hid him in my apartment. And that was kind of almost the beginning.
Kimberly claims that after the relationship ended, she changed her name and went on the run.
I got my real estate license. I have driven tractor and trailer, which I did in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
She stuck by the premise that she was running from an ex who she was afraid of.
When the conversation shifts to Jolene, Kimberly quickly shuts it down.
She said that she thought you were fake. She thought you were phony. She was going to look you up.
I don't remember any of that.
I think you know where Jolene is. She's out there somewhere. Her body's out there somewhere. And you're the one that can make it happen right now.
No, I cannot.
What's more, investigators find no proof that anyone is pursuing Kimberly, FBI or otherwise.
But at the time, I had no idea what was true or not true. So we set to work on finding out who she was.
I typed in the name Jennifer Seibert, date of birth, and all of a sudden there's this information with a little girl named Jennifer Seibert, same date of birth, who was in a car accident in Germany. It just gave us chills. She was buried in Butler, Pennsylvania, and we knew that Jennifer was from Butler, Pennsylvania.
They suspect she stole the real Jennifer Seibert's identity from her gravestone.
A detective contacted the real Jennifer Seibert's father. He was very surprised. He said that he had no idea how Kimberley Kessler could have obtained his daughter's information. I've worked identity theft before. There's sites you can go to online, dark web and such, and get that kind of thing.
Pennsylvania authorities tell detectives that Kimberley Kessler was reported missing by her mother in 2004 when she was 36 years old.
She was an adult at the time she went missing. As a matter of fact, her mother waited several years before she even reported her missing. I think she had talked about leaving, getting out of Butler, Pennsylvania. We actually sent an FBI agent to the mother's home and got a DNA swab and discovered, yes, this is truly her daughter.
Investigators continued digging, conducting interviews with anyone who knew Kimberly.
Dated and lived together for a while. Well, Kim seems to be the most charming, lovable person ever, and snap.
And talking with people that she had dated in the past, she was extremely jealous. She was very controlling. She was at times very violent.
She stabbed me in the chest, bit my dad in the leg.
When we're interviewing people, we found out she went by around 17 different aliases. She had several driver's licenses in different states.
This is a weird, evil woman.
Coming up, circumstantial evidence continues to mount, but Kimberly presents an unexpected new obstacle.
She was just very nasty to our deputies in the jail. She'd actually throw crap at them, cuss at them, spit on them, all that.
May 2018. It's been 8 days since 34-year-old Jolene Cummings went missing. Investigators now suspect the mother of three has been killed by her coworker, Kimberley Kessler, who has allegedly been on the run and living under false identities for nearly 25 years. However, investigators have yet to recover a body.
Nobody homicides, they are much more difficult to prosecute than when you have a body.
search of Kimberly's cell phone leads to crucial evidence.
We have her internet searches, coworker guilty of murder, and coworker not found, no body, no crime.
There were literally hundreds of searches in reference to Jolene Cummings' disappearance.
Despite having no body, on September 7th, 2018, a Nassau County grand jury indicts Kimberly on first-degree murder charges. Once she is behind bars, Kimberly exhibits a string of increasingly concerning behaviors.
She would just be very nasty to our deputies in the jail. She'd actually throw crap at them. She'd save in a cup and smear it on the windows all over her cell. Cuss at them, spit on them, all that.
The behaviors warrant enough concern to conduct a mental evaluation to determine if Kimberly is fit to stand trial.
She was diagnosed with delusional disorder, somebody who has shown that they maintain behaviors that are not based in any form of fact or reality. Now, if a person is a very, very convincing actor, they could convince somebody that they have delusional disorder. So another psychologist reevaluated Kimberly and, based on their assessment, found that Kimberly met criteria for an unspecified personality disorder and not a delusional disorder. It's not considered to be that real break from reality that we would see in successful sorts of use of an insanity defense.
Well, the judge is actually the one who makes the final decision. He decides she was clearly okay to stand for trial.
When Kimberly's trial begins in December 2021, her gaunt appearance is shocking, as are her antics.
When she was housed in the Nassau County Jail Detention Facility, she went on a hunger strike.
Every time that Kimberly had a court hearing, she would come in and she would be interrupted, so the judge would have her removed.
The theatrics do nothing to distract prosecutors from building their case. They present Kimberly as a troubled woman who lashed out when Jolene threatened to uncover her long-kept secret.
I think whenever Jolene told her, "I'm going to find out who you are," that was the straw that broke.
Style. Once somebody is onto them, it is not unusual for that person with that personality to get really agitated, to escalate.
I believe they got into a physical altercation. Jolene Cummings fought back, but I think Kimberly was able to get a hold of a pair of scissors. That was what incapacitated Jolene Cummings so that the body could be disposed of later on in the back part of the salon.
Kimberley Kessler likely felt entitled to eliminating Jolene so that she could maintain her own false reality that she had been using to get through the world all of these years. It's actually quite chilling.
On December 9th, 2021, the jury convicts 53-year-old Kimberley Kessler of first-degree murder and grand theft auto.
She was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole.
To this day, the search for Jolene's body continues, and investigators remain determined to reunite her with her beloved family.
I will never give up hope on locating Jolene.
I love and miss Jolene very much, and I would like to say to Kimberly, if you have any decency or any feelings whatsoever, at least give this family some closure and tell them where she is.
She was his high school sweetheart and became a basketball wife.
He made $55 million playing basketball. It seemed to be a true love story with the two of them.
I knew he was madly in love with her.
On a steamy summer night in Memphis, this fairy tale of riches comes to a startling end.
Jordan 111, where's your emergency?
You're literally hearing someone be murdered.
For nearly a decade, the case haunts the city. And when the truth finally comes out, a cold-hearted killer is close to home court.
This wasn't a robbery. It would lead you to believe it was something personal.
I mean, that was the Kodak moment when they brought that weapon out.
He was nothing more than a pawn on a chessboard that did what his queen wanted him to do.
July 22nd, 2010. In a wealthy suburb just outside of Memphis, Deborah Marion makes a phone call to the Collierville Police Department. Deborah identifies herself as mother to famed NBA star Lorenzen Wright. The name is well known to the officer and everyone else in Memphis.
He was what they call a hometown hero. So you would see his name on billboards everywhere. Every restaurant you go to, they'll have something of his nature now, whether it was a jersey or a poster.
Deborah tells the officer that 34-year-old Lorenzen, who currently lives in Atlanta, arrived in Memphis 4 days earlier to visit, but now has disappeared.
One of his sisters was pregnant at the time, and she was having a baby shower. But he would not have missed that for the world. He didn't show up for that.
Deborah insists this just isn't like her son.
No one could get in contact with him. They knew that there was something was wrong, something was bad wrong. The mother filed the missing person report.
All of us became highly concerned then because it was not like Ren. Something has happened.
As investigators review the report, news of the missing NBA player spreads quickly across the city.
This was indeed a very big deal. He was one of Memphis's favorite sons. The whole city was abuzz, wanted to know what happened.
75 in Oxford, Mississippi, to Deborah Marion and Herb Wright. Although his parents never married, Lorenzen was close to both his mother and his father.
The relationship that him and his mom had was a bond that would never be broken. I mean, they were very, very close.
Lorenzen's bond with his father, a former NBA prospect, centered around their shared love of basketball.
His father, Herb, was injured, wounded, and was paralyzed, and Herb never let the wheelchair stop him. Ren loved his daddy. He loved him, and Herb was his first sort of coach. Taught him a lot about basketball.
By the time Lorenzen was in high school, it was clear that the 6'11" teenager was a gifted athlete.
Anybody could see, even when he was in high school, this guy got a express train ticket to the NBA.
He was one of the top players in Mississippi. Then, his senior year, his dad had made the move to get him out of Mississippi and get him to Memphis.
Memphis produces a lot of top basketball players. If you want to be better, if you want to get better, play the best.
During the summers, Lorenzen played for the exclusive Amateur Athletic Union.
AAU is like, they call it All-American, all the top players around the country play in.
Lorenzen was a star on the team, gaining plenty of attention from his coach as well as from his coach's daughter, Shara Robinson.
From what I know, Shara's mom died at a young age, and she met Lorenzen through her dad.
Her father was an AAU basketball coach, and by that being the case, Shara had a lot of access to knowing who basketball players were.
Shara was different. Just different than anything he had been around. He was madly in love with her.
In 1994, Lorenzen began his freshman year of college playing for the University of Memphis. That same year, Shara became pregnant with his child. The couple was excited, but decided to hold off on marriage so Lorenzen could focus on basketball.
here this kid is, 6'10", 6'11", could run like a gazelle. He had it. And it was everything.
A year later, Lorenzen was still playing at the University of Memphis when all of his dedication and hard work paid off.
Draft night, Lorenzen get drafted by the LA Clippers as the number 7 player in the NBA draft, so instantly his life changed. So now...
He was always eager to return home to Shara and his son.
Being on the road was fine, and it's fun for a while, but he always wanted to get home to children.
By 1998, the couple had married, and Lorenzen had built both a reputation in the NBA and a handsome bank account. In 1999, Shara gave birth to their second child.
Oh, the wedding was awesome. Had a huge wedding in Memphis. The wedding was beautiful. Yeah, he was excited. We're all excited for him.
His marriage to Shara was a constant, even when his NBA career had the family moving from LA to Atlanta after he was traded to the Hawks. Then, in 2001, another dream came true.
That's where they held the press conference at for Lorenzen coming to play for the Memphis Grizzlies. It was real, real big. It was very, very, very much like this thing is coming back full circle.
Shara and Lorenzen moved their family to the wealthy Memphis suburb of Collierville.
The neighborhood's a very exclusive neighborhood, and in that neighborhood were 2 NFL football players in that same little cove that they were in.
Their family continued to grow. By 2002, they had 7 children, 3 girls and 4 boys.
Shara was always there for her kids. She was great as a mother. They had all kinds of help, whether it's family, friends, and live-in nannies.
By 2003, Lorenzen and Shara were living a fantasy. But tragedy struck when their youngest daughter, Sierra Simone, died of SIDS at 11 months old.
Shara was heartbroken. You know, it really, really hurt her a lot.
Lorenzen was devastated. That was probably the pivotal point in his marriage. Well, their relationship became very volatile. The arguments just continued on. On and on and on.
Over the next few years, the relationship was tumultuous, but the couple didn't give up.
They had some issues in Memphis when he was with the Grizzlies before they got back to Atlanta. But they decided, hey, okay, let's just squash it. They renewed their vows.
In 2006, Lorenzen was traded once again, this time back to the Atlanta Hawks. But less than 3 years later, he was cut and wouldn't play again. By then, it was clear that both his career and his marriage were in trouble.
Shara moved back to Memphis, and Lorenzen actually stayed. I think they started to drift apart.
So he lives in Atlanta. I'm going to come back and forth to Memphis.
Still a 50-50 thing. She would have the kids obviously during the school year or whatnot, but Lorenzen still made time, whether it's having them here in Atlanta or he was in Memphis. He loved his kids to the fullest. The kids were a big reason why that they actually stayed together for as long as they did.
But on July 22nd, just days after returning to Memphis to visit his family, Lorenzen is missing.
It wasn't entirely unlike Lorenzen to go a day or two without making contact with his family, not knowing exactly where he was. He did like to travel. He did have friends in various cities.
Family members say Lorenzen had an amicable relationship with his ex-wife Shara and planned to stay with her and his kids while he was in Memphis. When friends and family reach out to Shara, she isn't overly concerned.
She says there's nothing to be worried about. I'm sure he's just gone. He'll come back. This is what Lorenzen does.
But when he hadn't been heard from for 4 days, there became an issue.
Lorenzen tends to disappear whenever he needs some time to himself, but he always let somebody know. We're just thinking the worst.
Coming up, was Lorenzen's return to Memphis an act of love?
And that's one of the reasons he came back to Memphis. He was trying to get back with her.
Or was it a fatal mistake?
2 Hispanic men showed up at the house, and they were armed, and they were looking for Lorenzen.
So? Hello?
Memphis investigators are looking into the disappearance of NBA star Lorenzen Wright by tracking his last known whereabouts the night of July 18th, 2010. Family members tell police that earlier that day, Lorenzen was with his college friend, Phil Dotson.
So, Mr. Dotson was interviewed. He was somebody who's a lifelong friend of Lorenzen's.
He has dinner with a bunch of his fraternity brothers from the University of Memphis, among them Philip. And then after dinner, Phil Dodson takes him over to the gym.
At the gym, they watched Lorenzen's son play in a pickup game of basketball. But their time was interrupted by a constant stream of texts, all from Shara Wright.
Cheryl started sending Lorenzen, nudity pictures. Okay, well, come on, get this.
Yeah, we're going to do this, that, and the other.
Eventually, Phil tells the investigators he took Lorenzen and his son to Shara's house.
They then all get in the car, and Mr. Dotson drives them out to Collierville and drops them off, I believe, around 10 p.m.
And that was the last time he saw or heard from Lorenzen.
Mr. Dodson was extremely cooperative. He was somebody who was a lifelong friend of Lorenzen's. As far as he was concerned, there was nothing odd.
Since Shara's home was Lorenzen's last known location, investigators speak with her next. Shara corroborates Phil's story and tells detectives she last saw Lorenzen after he returned to the house with their son on the night of the 18th.
She has Lorenzen coming to the house, I think around 10 o'clock that evening. Them spending some time together. And then Lorenzen was making comments about having a box of drugs.
Shara claims around 10:30 that same night, 2 men she had never seen before arrived to pick up Lorenzen.
The 2 Hispanic men show up at the house, and they're wearing long overcoats, and they were armed, and they were looking for Lorenzen. And then he left, got in the car with them.
The words coming out of her mouth would alert alarm and suspicion, to anybody. There's red flags popping up. The entire tenor of the story is one that would make us concerned for his welfare.
After they finish their interview with Shara, investigators continue speaking with those close to Lorenzen and learn it's no secret the couple has had their troubles.
Both were having extramarital affairs.
They didn't argue in front of people. So whatever happened, it happened behind closed doors.
However, the infidelity was nothing compared to the financial shock that came when he was cut from the Hawks.
He made $55 million playing basketball. I think by the time they got divorced, that was basically gone.
They had cars that had been repossessed, and I don't think he was in a good place financially.
But in spite of all their problems, when the divorce became final just a few months ago, they seemed to regret it almost instantly.
And that's one of the reasons he came back to Memphis. She asked him to come back, and he came back. He was trying to get back with her.
Did Lorenzen's financial troubles lead him to get involved with the wrong crowd? Investigators, they immediately subpoena his phone records.
Back then, it took a little bit longer than it does for detectives to get his call records that include location information.
While detectives wait for the phone's location data, they are able to check the last call made from Lorenzen's phone, and they spot another red flag.
And they see that there's an outgoing call at 12:12 a.m., so just right after midnight.
They realized that the last call that was made was 911.
On July 27th, Detectives obtain a recording of the call from neighboring Germantown, just 22 miles east of Memphis, and what they hear is terrifying.
Georgetown 911, where's your emergency? Hello? 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 Darling, I've nothing but gunshot.
Anyone listens to it, it's chilling and it's pretty brutal.
So they, in turn, then contact the Germantown Police Department to follow what did Germantown do? What did the German Police Department do to follow up on this 911 call?
They get an answer they didn't expect.
That call was not followed up on at all. It wasn't shared with any of the other agencies. It was just ignored.
The tower that the call is pinging off of kind of sits right in the middle of 3 jurisdictions. So when Germantown looked at the longitude and latitude, they saw that it was not in their jurisdiction, so they just dropped it.
It's brutal. It's shocking. I don't know how you hear that phone call and just go, well, that was weird, and move on. It was shocking.
You hear these shots, I mean, you have to imagine that at some point, Lorenzen is running for his life as he's being shot.
More than a week after the 911 call, Collierville detectives get the phone information they've been waiting for.
They're able to use cell phone location information, triangulate where that came from. The location where this happened, suburbs of Memphis. Name of the street is Callus Cutoff.
Along with a full forensic team and K-9s, investigators head to the narrow street.
Collierville Police Department led that, greeted everything out, and then began that very exhaustive search.
They go over the barbed wire, walk more than maybe 120 yards, and they found his body.
So you're talking 9 days, a decomposing body, laying out 9 days in the Memphis weather in July. He was nothing but bones.
It is unrecognizable as a person, except for the bright white tennis shoes that remained.
Between the shoes, jewelry, and clothing, investigators are all but certain the body belongs to Lorenzen. As the medical examiner collects the remains, investigators comb the area around the body for evidence.
They search numerous times in an attempt to find his cell phone. It's never found, but they find at least 2 different kinds of casings. One a small caliber handgun and one a 9mm. It suggests more than likely multiple perpetrators.
A 25 caliber gun's not going to shoot 9mm and vice versa. Typically, in my experience, people aren't shooting two-fisted.
Detectives believe that this wasn't a random attack.
He still has his watch on. He still has diamond earrings and a chain, which kind of right off lets you know this wasn't a robbery. It will lead you to believe it was something personal.
Investigators aren't able to keep the discovery of the body under wraps for long.
You could see his mother, Deborah, pacing and wanting answers from the police.
That was breaking news. And his mama was one of the first to get to the scene.
It was just so visceral. It was just really, really hard to watch her find out that moment that it was him.
A day later, the medical examiner uses dental records to confirm that the remains belong to the basketball star.
He was shot 5 times. He was shot in the head. He was shot in the chest.
What could have possibly happened? You just got this really chilling visual of just those last moments, and so you felt like it had to be some type of execution.
Coming coming up. Shara's story continues to raise questions.
Once the officers start pointing out to her that she's saying things that don't match up, she gets a lawyer and stops talking.
And a darker...
Overlapping the same general area where Lorenzen Wright's 911 call was overlapping.
Having found the badly decomposed body of NBA star Lorenzen Wright, investigators follow up on his ex-wife Shara Wright's claims that he left her house with drugs and 2 mystery men.
Originally, she was just telling family members, just Lorenzen being Lorenzen, don't worry about it. And then it wasn't until she was interviewed by police the first time that she tells this story about him leaving in the middle of the night. If anyone left under those circumstances disappeared, the loved one who witnessed that would immediately be concerned for the welfare, but Shara is not.
When investigators follow up with more of Lorenzen's family and friends, they explain that if Lorenzen blew through his fortune, he had plenty of help from Shara.
She would often brag that the clothes that she wore, was valuable in most people's cars. This was her style, and she loved to spend money.
Lorenzen's loved ones say that even if Lorenzen was having money problems, there's no way he was involved in drugs.
Anybody that knows Lorenzen, first of all, know that he don't have a bad bone in his body. Drugs, no. Lorenzen is not a street guy.
After the interview, investigators want to speak to Shara again, but she throws up a roadblock.
Once the officers start pointing out to her that she's saying things that don't match up, she gets a lawyer and stops talking.
So they began looking at the text messages she sent to Lorenzen to get him to come to Memphis.
Investigators subpoena Shara's phone records, and it's clear that Shara had been on a campaign to get Lorenzen to come to Memphis for days before he arrived.
She's sending him pretty sexually explicit text messages to come to Memphis and see her.
Was Shara really that eager to reconcile with her ex, or was she luring him into a trap? As investigators comb through the texts in the days before Lorenzen went missing, they discover a number of messages between Shara and 2 men, Billy Turner and Jimmy Martin.
Shara had exchanged a series of suspicious, appeared to be coded text exchanges with Jimmy in the days before the murder.
Awaiting trial for second-degree murder.
At the time Lorenzen was killed, Jimmy Martin had his own legal problem going on. He had been charged with the murder of his girlfriend.
When detectives ask around about the other man, Billy Turner, they learn he is Shara's landscaper.
Her and Billy met at church. He was a deacon at the church, and he also became her yard guy.
When detectives pull location data from their phones, Billy's phone is the only one that raises an alarm.
His phone was hitting on a tower overlapping the same general area where Lorenzen Wright's 911 call was overlapping. That helped us put Billy close to, if not on the scene, shortly after the murder happens.
Investigators reach out to Billy and Jimmy, but both men deny any involvement.
We have a crime scene that's been covered up. The 911 call was not followed up on at all.
They ran down all these tips, they got phone records, they talked to a lot of people, but eventually you kind of run up into a wall where, what else are we going to do here? And if you don't catch them with, I guess, the literal smoking gun in this case, you kind of run into a dead end.
Lorenzen's mother refuses to let the case go cold.
Deborah Marion, who is pushing. I want this investigated. I want justice for my son, and I'm not going to leave you alone until I get it.
While Deborah is dogged in her efforts to get the case solved, investigators learn Shara is on a different quest.
She had nearly spent $1 million in 10 months of the insurance money after Lorenzen's death. I was covering the court case. His dad was suing Shara to try to stop the money, please.
She burned through it like Sherman burning through Georgia. She just went through expensive trips, houses, furniture, lawn equipment.
2 years pass, and it looks as if Lorenzen's murder will remain unsolved. Then, in 2012, Shara's cousin Jimmy Martin's murder trial wraps up and brings an unexpected twist.
Jimmy gets convicted, and at that point, he comes forward to authorities.
It's like a lot of prisoners in jail, they're trying to get better conditions. They sometimes want to be moved to a different prison. They're trying to work a deal.
Jimmy shocks investigators when he says he is finally ready to talk about Lorenzen's murder.
Jimmy Martin told police about meeting with Shara Wright. Jimmy, he didn't really take her seriously.
Jimmy claims when they decided to put the plan in motion on July 18th, he was abruptly left out.
His story is that night, I was supposed to be there, but they never came and got me.
After midnight, Jimmy says he finally heard from Billy, who told him that he and Shara needed his help. Billy admitted that Lorenzen was already dead, but during the attack, Shara had panicked and left a .25 caliber pistol at the scene on Callis Cutoff Road.
They told him that she started shooting and essentially ran up the street in a panic and threw it.
They talked about getting a metal detector, and they kind of went back to the scene the next day, used the metal detector to find the gun.
Jimmy says that Shara took the .25 caliber pistol with her while he went with Billy to get rid of the 9mm.
He talked about this lake that he and Billy went out to and threw one of the guns in the lake.
Jimmy's story matches evidence recovered at the scene by investigators.
Up on the road, you had 25 caliber shell casings and one 9mm shell casing.
But investigators also know they will need more than a convicted murderer's word to bring this case to justice.
We were going to follow up on that evidence, and we were going to let the evidence drive the investigation.
Coming up, investigators take a deep dive for evidence.
The divers told us if it's there, we're going to find it.
And they stop at nothing to uncover the truth.
The plan for the wiretap was to tap both of their phones. You got to jump through quite a few hoops to get that, so we did that. After the murder of Lorenzen Wright, detectives head out with Jimmy Martin to the spot where he claims his co-conspirator Billy Turner dumped one of the murder weapons.
Those investigators asked for a volunteer dive team from Walnut, Mississippi to come and search the lake. They did it on the day after it had rained and all the lake was muddy. They spent a few hours and were unable to find anything.
Detectives are forced to consider the possibility that the most promising break in years was just a ploy.
The original detectives dismissed Jimmy Martin's account, and the case went cold for years.
I don't know why they didn't go back and search the lake.
In the following years, Shara moves to Riverside, California, and she remarries twice. Meanwhile, Lorenzen's mother, Deborah, refuses to let her son's case die.
God bless her heart. She wouldn't let a day go by that she didn't phone call him and go up there to the police department. She kept saying, y'all gotta find who killed my son.
In 2017, 7 years after Lorenzen's death, Deborah gets her wish. The Memphis Police Department officially reopens the case with a multi-agency gang unit. They dub it Operation Rebound.
I was the operations commander for the multi-agency gang unit, which included Memphis police officers, county sheriff deputies, special agents with ATF, special agents with the FBI.
On On June 27, 2017, Memphis detectives bring an FBI dive team to the Mississippi Lake where Jimmy Martin told them he helped Billy Turner dump the murder weapon.
The divers told us if it's there, we're going to find it. And they went down, and maybe an hour, we hear them talking to the man post, we've got a gun. That was one of the happiest moments of my life. I mean, that was the Kodak moment when they brought the weapon out.
Detectives send the 9mm gun for ballistics testing. Over a month later, the results are in.
They took the shell casing from the test fire and compared that microscopically to the shell casing recovered from the scene, and they matched. 9mm shell casing.
That was truth test number 1 for Jimmy Martin. So that's a big deal, but that's still not time to go out and charge somebody. We decided that a good investigative strategy would be to go on a wiretap on her phone and on Billy Turner's phone.
The plan for the wiretap was to tap both of their phones after getting a court order signed by a judge. You got to jump through quite a few hoops to get that. So we did that for both Billy Turner's phone and Shara Wright's phone.
On November 9th, 2017, Memphis police announce the discovery of the gun. The media latches on to the story, and within a couple of hours, it's clear that Shara has heard the news.
She said, somebody done told somebody about something. They've got some kind of informant. She knew not to have those confessional conversations on the phone. Luckily for us, we were listening. Not only to her phone, we were listening to Billy's phone as well.
The wiretap
Shara Wright begins internet searches on her phone that include how long do fingerprints last on a gun underwater. She also searches for the name Billy Turner.
Within days, Shara is on a plane back to Memphis. When she touches down, detectives tail her.
She uses a third party's phone to contact Billy Turner and set up a secret meeting with Billy Turner.
When we knew they were going to meet at a certain location, then we would kind of get ahead of that and set up surveillance.
They're not able to get audio, but they're able to get video of the meeting. They're actually Billy looking over his shoulder to make sure nobody else is watching numerous times during about a 30-minute conversation that is animated.
On December 5th, 2017, investigators obtain a search warrant for Billy's residence in Memphis in an attempt to recover evidence connected to Lorenzen's murder.
We conducted a search warrant. We found some weapons. Billy's a convicted felon. He's not allowed to have weapons. So we arrested him and got an indictment on him for weapons charges as well as being responsible for killing Lorenzen. So it's beginning to kind of come together.
But when investigators speak with Billy, the only thing he admits to is being more than Shara's friend.
He admitted to police that he had had sex with her at least once.
And then at some point, he just said he didn't want to talk anymore.
A few days later, U.S. Marshals arrest Shara in California.
She was at a boys' basketball game, and they just followed her from there, made a traffic stop, took her into custody.
Neither one cooperated. Shara did not give a statement.
On December 16th, 2017, the Memphis Police Department calls another press conference.
Shara Wright has been indicted for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, criminal attempt first-degree murder, and first-degree murder for her ex-husband, Lorenzen Wright.
When the announcement was made that there was a cheer across this town like Lorenzen scored a slam dunk.
After 7 long years, Lorenzen's mother finally has justice.
Last night, it's like the good Lord put me in the bed and put me in a coma until my alarm clock went off this morning.
Yes, indeed. This is the day I've been waiting on for the last 7 years.
But prosecutors know that an arrest doesn't assure a conviction, especially when it comes to Shara Wright.
She stays.
Coming up, prosecutors try to build a witness list.
We reached out to Billy Turner.
But Shara has one last trick up her sleeve.
She knew that if she had to go to trial herself, then, what eventually came out would have been her own demise.
As prosecutors in Shelby County build their case against Shara Wright, her motive is crystal clear.
There's not a doubt that Lorenzen Wright was worth more to Shara Wright dead than he was alive at the end. There's a life insurance policy. There's also an NBA pension policy. Add those together, about $2 million.
Prosecutors believe that Shara recruited her lover, Billy Turner, to help.
Billy Ray Turner was nothing more than a pawn on a chessboard that did what his queen wanted him to do.
They theorize that on July 18th, 2010, Shara lured Lorenzen to Memphis with promises of sex and reconciliation. Then, around midnight, she convinced him to take a ride with her.
During some of their family interviews, our investigators revealed that oftentimes when they would kind of get into these heated arguments, they would go to Callous Cutoff to kind of have these very deep conversations. That was their lover's lane.
When they arrived, Billy Turner was waiting, gun in hand.
Billy Turner was armed, and Shara was armed. They both fired shots at Lorenzen there on the road. He jumped over the barbed wire fence. Billy pursued over the barbed wire fence.
They started shooting, and then he ran away. They had to chase him, and they fired a lot of bullets.
Lorenzen was on his phone trying to call 911. Billy followed the light from the phone. Lorenzen thought, when he got to those bushes, that he had some sort of cover, but he didn't. Billy fired numerous shots and executed him right there.
As they prepare for 2 trials, prosecutors are shocked when Shara's lawyers unexpectedly contact them about a plea.
I believe that she knew that if she had to go to trial herself, then, what eventually came out would have been her own demise.
On July 25th, 2019, Shara pleads guilty to facilitation of first-degree murder. A judge sentences her to 30 years. She will be eligible for parole in 2027. For those who had waited 7 years for her,
knowing that she might not even do the whole 30 years, probably not, it's really sick.
I was mad, angry. A few other words that I don't want to use because of my clerical collar. She got off easy.
Billy Turner takes his chances in court. At his trial in March 2022, his lawyer places a lot of the blame on Shara.
Billy Turner didn't wake up one morning wanting to kill Lorenzen Wright. Billy Turner's somebody that was manipulated and used by Shara Wright.
The tactic doesn't work. Billy is convicted of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy.
In the state of Tennessee, when you're found guilty of first-degree murder, it's automatic life sentence.
In Memphis, Lorenzen's legacy lives on, but the city is haunted by what might have been.
I think he would have been actively involved in our community. It's one of the biggest things that Lorenzen had. He had a heart to give. He had a heart to pour back into. He had a heart to inspire.
We've got some great players on the Grizzlies team right now. Great guys. Great. But none of them have risen to the point where Lorenzen was with Memphis. And because of that, people still grieve his loss today.